Teachers of today, the curriculum changes every year. Same teacher, same 24 hours, same family, same husband, same children, same society, and they have to change it. How will they cope up? See the difference. The curriculum used to change 10 years, now it changes every year. So the answer to this is only technology. Teachers will have to adapt to technology and they have to use that. Let me come up with something very important. Almost everybody's talked about teacher training, teacher training, teacher training. Exactly. We are talking about training 14 million teachers in our country. 14 million teachers that we need to train. How are we going to do that? Sir just said that it will take us 10 years. We can't wait for 10 years. And look at the geographical divide. Look at the different parts of the country. How will we reach? So the first thing that I would want to say is that if we really want to train our teachers to deliver better or deliver according to what NEP 2020 is talking about, we need to first train them on how to use technical tools, technology tools. Okay, Colonel Sham did talk about it. Even Dr. Sandeep talked about it. Nitin sir, you talked about it, that we need to bring in technology. If we are able to train our teachers how to go look from where the information is and how to convert that information into knowledge, most of our work will be done. All we need to do is to show them where to look. You don't have to know everything. Nowhere is it said that a teacher should know everything, but a teacher should know where to look for everything and how to convert that knowledge into, that information into knowledge. So the first training that we need to do is how to use different tools to go and look for things. That's one. Post that, if the teachers are able to do that, they will be able to learn on their own. Because when we are talking about just 50 hours of training in the entire year, that is not going to be enough. So there's a lot of thing. The government is planning to have a teacher training portal. Everything is going to be there, which is going to be on demand whenever he or she wants it, wherever he or she wants to do it, and howsoever she wants to do it. So that is the most important thing. Understand one more important thing. We as teachers will never be able to match the pace of the students of today. Dr. Sandeep, you rightly said, we are technology migrants, they are technology residents, or right? So how can
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
more than that? That's the true thing. So what you want to do is, now the teacher has to change. Instead of being a sage on the stage, has to be a facilitator. That's what we need to do. Is you have all the three of you have put up certain points. How do we achieve that? I'll give you a simple example. Dr. Sandeep, you did take, talk about flip learning. Flip classroom is the answer to most of these things. Let's understand certain simple thing. You do not need much of internet, or sorry, much of technology. All you need is internet access on a mobile phone, which 80% of the country already has. The other will soon happen. Let me give you an example. Say if I am a geography teacher and I am supposed to talk about volcanoes today, what would I do as a teacher? I would come prepared, open up the book, ask the kids to go to chapter 5 and download all that I know onto them. So it's going to be a one way traffic, one way delivery. The students may not be interested. Today's student is not interested that way. There's no guarantee how much of that is absorbed. There's no guarantee whether they are listening to you or not. But suppose if I do something else, I say, tomorrow I'm going to talk about volcanoes and I want each one of you 30 students to get me 10 lines. Get me 10 lines. That's it. What will the students do? When they go home, straight they'll go and Google. Obviously, Google. But you know the problem? If they go look for 10 lines, they will not find those 10 lines on volcanoes. They'll find 10,000 lines. Am I right, sir? They will find 10,000 lines. So, what is it that the child has to
Yes.
do? The child has to read through that, skim, scan through that, and get his 10 lines. But one word of caution, or one important thing. Sir, we've been working with more than 1 million students on a daily basis in India as a company. You know what we have realized? Increasingly, reading is going down. The major problem today is students are not reading. So one important thing that we need to do is to see to it that we inculcate good reading habits, because NEP 2020 talks about research based learning. Dr. Sandeep also talked about research based. That is important, and for that you have to read. There's no way somebody's going to come and tell you what you want to know. So going back to my point, what is it that the students are going to do? They're going to get those 10 lines. So the next day, what happens? Each child gets up and presents. Okay, he is supposed to make a presentation of his 10 points. So first, presentation skills, which are very, very important, right? Second, they're going to talk about that. So communication skills, right? So they're going to speak in front of the entire class. Third, they're going to listen to each other and collaborate. So collaborative skills. And third is peer group learning. Understand one thing: peer group learning is the best form of learning. If students collaborate and if they come up with their own points, nothing better than that. They are all going to enjoy it. They need not mug it up. They have discussed it, they've understood it, and that's what the teacher needs to do. Teacher needs to make this happen. So it is very simple. Today's kid is smart. All you need to do is excite them, make them come up with their own ideas, make them come up with their own understanding. So whether it's critical thinking, whether it's communication, whether it's creativity, or whether it's collaborative, all the four C's can be achieved if you bring in collaborative learning, which is in the form of flipped classrooms. Flipped classroom is simple, nothing needed, but the teacher needs to just be there and make sure that there's positive environment. So a teacher needs to be compassionate, and a teacher needs to go down to the level of the child to make him go up. Sir, you know Chanakya, we've all heard about Chanakya. Colonel sir, Nitin sir, and Dr. Sandeep. Chanakya was a great teacher, and you know what he used to say? A teacher is a person who lets the learner know that I know as much as you know, let's learn together. And that's what the teacher is supposed to be, a facilitator, not somebody telling, because a child already knows more than that. So if we deploy, employ such simple things where you do not need much of knowledge, you do not need much of technology, but you can start with that, and students will learn to do it. They are capable of doing that. So that's one thing that I talk about, that we first need to train our teachers to learn how to use technology to the extent that they need to do it, and then keep it open. That's one. Coming on to my main point is on languages. So we do talk about that. Nitin sir, I think you talked about that. Is that, you know, NEP 2020 says that during the foundation years we need to teach them in the local language. There's an option. It is not compulsory. Schools can still opt to teach in English. But if I were to be a principal and if I were to run a school, I would allow them to be taught in their local language. Understand why? Look at a class 1 student who is learning how to comprehend in English, and on the other hand, the core subjects are taught in English. The child gets burdened. He doesn't understand. He gets scared, and that's where he loses interest. But if we were able to teach him in his local language, which he already knows before coming to school, his understanding will be better. But what happens to other languages? So research says that up till the age of 8, a child can learn up to 5 languages. NEP 2020 talks about only 3 languages. Which are those 3 languages? The local or the mother tongue, okay, where the foundation core subjects are taught. Foreign language, which is English, because he has to deal with the world. He has to deal with internet. That is 90% of the content on the internet is in English. And third is a classical language, which in all our cases, we're talking about Sanskrit. Why? Nationalism. Why? Understand your culture. Why? Understand your history. Look at that. So if I know my local language, I will be able to understand my concepts better. I will respect my local language. I will know about the local heritage. English will connect me to the world, and my classical language, which is Sanskrit, will actually take me out to understand, make me more nationalistic. I will be able to go look into those scriptures. There's a lot of knowledge buried under there. How do you do that? And that is something very important. You know, we actually have designed a lab to teach Sanskrit. Very simple. We all thought it's a difficult language, but you know, we should have all these 3 languages right from class 1. Okay, so Hindi, in our case, English and Sanskrit. And a child, if he speaks 3 or more languages at a time, the brain works better. Imagine one sentence, 3 languages put together, and still they make meaning out of it. That's logic. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to actually create a learner who is more eager to know more. If you speak more languages, you are more compassionate. If you are able to collaborate others using other like their languages, you become a better person. So all in all, what I say is NEP 2020, the three language system is perfect. We need not worry because it's going to be multilingual. So what is taught in local language will also be taught in English. So if a child changes from one state to the other, or if a child from some other state comes, that is workable. That is what is required. And for that, technology can always help teachers teach better when it comes to languages and things like that. So that's what I want to conclude, that NEP 2020 is giving the teachers an option to become a facilitator, is ready to prepare the teachers. And one very important thing, they are also planning to make internet available everywhere because they themselves have seen what happened or what is happening currently. To take care of this thing, to bring in those 2 crore students who have already dropped out, to get them in, we need to do that. We are talking about curating. Yes, the students will curate. We need not worry. We need to just understand the textbooks or curriculum is going to go off. There's not going to be any limitation of your learning. It will all depend on the child. So instead of giving the syllabus, there'll be a can do statement. What's a can do statement? At this level, this is what a child can do. This level, that this is what a child can do. And that is what is going to do. Dr. Sandeep, we have can do statements in languages. It is going to come into everything. And that is how education is changing, especially in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jaswindra sir, for sharing and touching these two important areas, language and technology, and how we can utilize technology effectively to create impact. Big thanks for your participation. I would come back to you with questions. Thank you, sir. And now I would invite a last key speaker for this very special session, Dr. Abhay Chaube. Dr. Chaube, over to you.
Good evening, all. Before going to talk about adoption or implementation of new education policy at higher education level, I would like to introduce about my organization. Please allow me to share my screen. Sir, my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
SRM University, Delhi NCR Sonipat is a center of higher education and research having motto Learn, Live and Lead. SRM group of organization having 5-decade legacy on healthcare, hotel, transport, auto tech, construction, infotech, infotainment, cement, education, technology, and power. It has 4 campuses in Chennai, Haryana, Amravati, and Sikkim. SRM University, Delhi NCR Sonipat, established under Haryana Private University Act 2006. It is affiliated with Department of Higher Education, Government of Haryana, Department of Science and Industrial Research, Bar Council of India, Association of Indian University, UGC, and National Council for Hotel Management and Catering Technology. It is first university to have academic affiliate with IIT Haryana, around 48 acres of campus, powered by NASCAM Future Skill, AAA rated by University Career 360, 63 plus course offered. SRM University having industry collaboration with NASCOM, IBM, Future Skill, Bevia, Reliance Jio, KPMG, ISDC, and Tata. It has also academic affiliation with many foreign universities. It has innovation cells like MHRD, innovation cells, academic affiliate with Indian Institute of Engineering and Technology, Institute of Engineers of India. SRM having professional academic membership of the Association of Commonwealth University, Indian Concrete Institute, Indian Society for Technical Education. It has established library, lab, modern classroom. Now coming to adoption of new education policy in SRM University. We have adopted learning can like e-learning. Learning can take place anywhere with e-learning. Sir has already talked about flipped classroom pedagogy. So we have flipped classroom pedagogy like blended learning, flipped class learning, bringing your own device. A student will routinely experience internship, mentorship, and collaborative projects. A student will play a large role in forming syllabus and curriculum. It has choice-based credit system for a student. For preferred code, they can choose the subject to their own interest. It has industry-oriented courses like IBM specialization in artificial intelligence and data science, IBM specialization in cloud computing, IBM specialization in IoT and blockchain, IBM specialization in big data, TCS specialization in computer and business system, JVR specialization in DevOps. Recently, SRM has joined hand with Siemens and has established one center of excellence for product design, lab, process digitalization, 3D printing, biotech specialization. Actually, this is the measure here. The faculty are getting trained from Siemens, and we are training to our students so that they can get live project, and that industry and university collaboration will occur. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chaube, for sharing, how SRM has adopted, this national education policy. Big thanks for your participation. Now, with this, we come to the end, the last part of the session, which is the question part. Dr. Chaube, I would request if you can, you are still sharing your screen. Right, thank you. So we have already received many questions. So I would now start presenting these questions to all our key speakers. But before I start presenting questions, I just, for a minute, I would share my screen and would like to share the kind of work we are doing at School Lalaji Solutions. And after that, we'll start sharing questions with all the key speakers. So please allow me to share my screen. Some of you are already aware with School Lalaji Solutions. We are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in more than 42 cities, working with some around 4,500 institutions. We help educational institutions in 3 ways. We help them in buying right thing from right people at right price. We also help them in selling their old stuff like their old buses, generators, furniture to other institutions who may need that. We also help institutions in raising money, that may be in terms of loan or fee financing. Why any educational institution would need a platform like School Lalaji? There are 2 important reasons. One is the discount, because we have more, we give them bulk orders, we have more power to negotiate, so we get you a better deal. The second important reason is, the kind of companies we have today in our education ecosystem. We have more than 10,000 educational suppliers. Every month, there are hundreds of companies are coming into education. The one big challenge, for both sides is the reach out. How to reach out to each other. Here we come into picture, we understand your school, your institution, your interest area, your budgetary limitation, and accordingly we connect you with the right kind of companies. We have category experts who interact with different category-wise companies on daily basis. We also talk to their previous client to certify their credibility. And we also negotiate with them, and after that, we recommend you right set of companies. These are different areas where we are helping educational institutions: smart classroom, procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel, solar plant, language lab, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM, STEAM labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational tour, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee that will save you at least 5 to 7% of your annual budget. So that's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation for your institution. Just one example, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees for different schools in one category only. That's bus insurance. We are perhaps India's largest school bus insurance partner. So major highlights, we did 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 3000 plus bus insurance, 400 plus smart classroom, 2000 plus cameras, 350 plus 20 programs, 56 old buses, uniform in 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So big thanks. I'll end my talk here. And now I would invite Shyam sir, if I may present the first question to you.
Yeah, please.
Sir, this question has come from Ms. Sanskriti Shrivastava ji, or Sanskriti is a principal with Shamford Futuristic School, Jhansi.
Okay.
Question says how NEP can help institutions to impart more education. I'm also posting the question in the chat box.
Voice is not clear.
Yeah, I've posted the question in the chat box, sir. How NEP can help educational institutions to impart more education. If I also try to rephrase the questions, a lot of people have also asked this question. If you can highlight, how this NEP is going to bring that change. If you can, highlight 3 important areas from this NEP.
Yeah, of course, NAP has got one of the main focus area is the mother tongue is the key factor where the beginning stage, just like Jaswinder Singh sir has given a detail and Nitin Williams sir has given, the importance of language matters a lot. The basic preliminary language through which the education is getting imparted to a child at the beginning stage of his learning matters a lot. That is the one key factor. And at the same time, slowly we are building upon the quality of a child through various mechanisms in the form of giving more importance to various other languages like Hindi or English, Sanskrit, like that. And at the slightly higher level, when the boy or the girl is reaching to choose a selection of subjects, or whatever selection of subject the boy or girl the child want to do, then that particular area can be slightly more focused in the new education policy. At the same time, even though it is not very much, the teachers development program, the continuous development program suggested minimum 50 hours of training, even though that is not adequate for a teacher to come up with all the facilities as a facilitator to give appropriate knowledge to the students. However, to an extent, a method has been came into limelight and something has been in the form of written so that the things can get implemented in slightly more faster pace.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shyam sir. I would come back to you for your concluding remark. Now I would request Nitin sir. Sir, I have already posted the question in the chat box. Mr. Alok Kanunko, senior teacher computer science with Delhi College Indore. The question says when the coding, teaching computer science for class 6 to 12 will be compulsory and get started for teaching. This is one part. I also add another part to this question, which have been asked by a lot of people, during our last sessions. How this entire enthusiasm towards coding, how much you find that enthusiasm is right, or is kind of a, infatuation of parents towards that coding thing? Nitin sir.
Sir, as NEP is more of child-centric, and you can see that with this coding and whatever new policies are going to come up, it will give a lot of benefit to the children. If I talk about the teachers part, they will also get a lot of benefit to teach students in a advanced manner. Well, the question which has been raised up is quite appropriate. That is how the things are going to be implemented, how the things are going to be done. See, the government has got its own policies where they will be at a glance, they will be sending information, and from day one, the things will be into existence. So everybody is waiting for that time to come, and let's see how well this pandemic time goes on and how well the things are going to be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin sir. Now I would request Sandeep sir, if I may present the next question to you. Sandeep sir, do we have your presence? Sandeep sir, do we have your presence? You are on mute, sir. Okay, let me join us back. I would request Jaswinder sir, if I may present the next question to you. Sir, this question is from the language background. A lot of people have asked this question that this NEP is a strong attempt to dilute the importance of English. So, if I may ask you the question, how do you see the future of English as a language, let's say 10 years from now?
I don't think this is going to dilute the importance of English, but it is definitely going to bring in more importance to our Indian regional languages and the national language. You see, one language is not sufficient for an Indian to work on. So English, because see, understand, we are already the back office of the world. We are going to become the factory of the world. We will soon be the back office of the service center of the world. Now, when we have to do business with the entire world, we have to speak the language that the world speaks, and that is English. So nowhere is this going to do that. And nowhere does NEP 2020 say that you should not teach in English. What it says is during the early foundation years, where the core subjects have to be explained before, I mean, if the child doesn't understand in a certain language, please use the local language. So the thing is that we need to use other languages, doesn't mean we have to stop using English. Understand one important thing, we'll have to be bilingual in the first foundation years. English is as important as it was earlier. In fact, it has become more important. More focus has to be given to that. But we have to give the due importance to our regional languages, because students need to understand the regional culture, the regional heritage, and the history. And that's why this is there. English will not lose it. In fact, let me tell you one thing. From the time people have started discussing about English and talking about NEP 2020, there are more schools approaching us to set up their language requirements. So I don't see that, neither is it read that way, neither is it understood that way. So this is a wrong statement. We will not, English will not lose its importance. In fact, the importance is there, but definitely importance of Indian languages is going to come up, which is a very welcome move that the government has taken.
Right. Thank you, sir. Now I don't see Dr. Chaubey is here. I would just try again. Dr. Sandeep Kalia. Sandeep sir, if you have your presence. Okay. I would request.
I'm. The audio is coming, but in.
Yes. So you have joined the exam for the last 30 minutes. So thank you and welcome back, sir. Sandeep sir. Sir, question. I've posted the question in the chat box. Ms. Ashi Sharma, PGT with Blue Bells Public School Jhansi, has asked this question. Question says how it can be beneficial to students in respect of education and skill. Sandeep sir,
can you please post? Can you please post? Can you please post me the question, because you're not audible clearly? Please post the question. I'll revert if I'm audible.
Yeah, I've done it, sir. I've done it again.
He wants to ask that how English can be beneficial to the students, no?
Not English exactly. How in both regards, education and skill. I'm sure like education skills cover almost everything in education. So it is actually the question actually asking how it would be beneficial. Sandeep sir, am I audible?
The studies show that the learning a language keeps the brain in a good shape and enhances the cognitive skills and the memory. It helps them becoming the multitaskers. It provides the students with a good concentration and even decreases the chances of dementia and Alzheimer's disease also. So when a language, uh, uh, when a language is learned, it becomes a good habit. It becomes a good habit. It becomes a good habit. And 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 there's nothing bad for a language. Language always comes with the good things. So it's the basic thing is in the developing years, the children need to have good cognitive and more language a child learns, more cognitive development he'll have, and that's for sure.
Right, right. Sandeep sir, thank you for sharing that. But I would request Nitin sir, this question has come from your school, so I would request if you would like to attempt it.
Well, the new education policy is going to help students a lot. As in my speech also, I said the same thing, that in coming years, as there will be a lot of changes, and we have to accept those changes because this is the requirement of the time, the requirement of the technology which is to be introduced up, and every child has to understand the importance of the new education policy. Every teacher need to understand, every school need to understand, and then only the world is going to face a different like the our country is going to face a different situation in the world, where with every language, the language which will become very easy for the students to understand, like suppose the local languages what we are talking about. So the local language is to be explained up, like the topic need to be explained up, and then as sir also mentioned about English will never ever go, and the students need to understand. That's what.
One thing I would want to put, if you allow me, see, India is gearing up for a skill-based economy. So education and skills have to go hand in hand, right? And one important thing, there was a research done by MIT, US. They said that if we were to define the human body again based on which part of the human body uses the brain the maximum, do you know which part of the human body was the biggest and which was the smallest? The smallest were our limbs and the biggest were our hands, because the usage of hands actually uses the brain the maximum. So skill based learning and education, if combined together, the brain develops better, and that's what we are looking at. That is why they've got this vocational skills. It is not that we want to make everybody a carpenter. Yes, it is there to have dignity of labor, but when you use your hands to do something, you learn better. That is the whole idea of combining both education and skills together, and that's what we should be doing. And it makes us more humble. India, because of this caste system and all that, we have gone beyond. We need to acknowledge that each and every work is important, each and every kind of dignity of labor is important, and that's why they are getting into this, that skill and education have to go hand in hand and together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jaswinder sir. Thank you, Nitin sir and Sandeep sir. With this, we come to the end of this very special 158th session. But before we end the session, I would request all our key speakers if we can have your concluding remark. And we have also established one very interesting practice, that while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also suggest one idea that you would like to execute if you get a chance to become Minister of Education of our country. What would be your priority that you would like to execute? So I would request Jaswinder sir, if we may begin with you. Can we have your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Thank you. My concluding remark on NEP 2020 is great policy, great piece of document, but from a piece of document, we have to make it reality, which is a mammoth task. Everybody has to come in, but we need not get baffled, or we need not worry about such big goals. Let's break it into small pieces, achieve them one by one, and we will do it. As it is, government has given us 10 years to implement it fully, though we start next year with it, but we can do it. There's nothing that is impossible if the right minds and the intent is clear. So that's what I would talk about NEP 2020 and my concluding remarks onto that. Coming down to the ministry part and things like that, earlier one of the speakers did say that if you really want to implement this policy properly, you need to see to it that the implementers, the teachers, need to be trained very well. So let's go one step further. We need to attract the right kind of people to join this fraternity. I suppose it was said that we have earlier somebody had said that it is not choice, it is not chance, It is by force that people are becoming teachers. If we get teachers by choice, people to join this fraternity, and the 4-year integrated B.Ed program is the first step towards that, because a person right from 12th standard onwards has decided that I want to be a teacher, and they will go push forward rather than this becoming a choice. So it is the first step, but still we need to have the right kind of people. How do we get them? First is we need to pay them well. Second, we need to respect them well. Colonel sir, I'm going to take the liberty of saying that the army is taking care of our current times, and the teachers are going to take care of our future times, right? The army secures us today and tomorrow, but these teachers are securing the future of the country, and that is why they should be respected the way we respect the army people. Let me share with you an experience. Just around 25 days back, on the new this thing in one of the newspapers, I read an article where in one of the Scandinavian countries, where the engineers and the doctors are paid less than the teachers, they went to the mayor and said, "Why are we paid less?" There was a single one-line question, one-line answer, and the answer was, "Because you are common people." That means the teachers are not common people. They are the ones who made you. They are the ones who are creating tomorrow's world. So please don't compare yourself to that. So what happens is we need to recognize, we need to respect, because nowhere is it said that a teacher has to be in khadi clothes and with a thela. Those days are gone. Teachers they have a right to the best of life. Look at Finland. Look at Canada. So we need to get onto that, and it is no big task, because every we talk about guru, but let's make them gurus. So what I would do is, if I am the Minister of Education, I would classify them as the first class citizens of the country. Give them that respect, and if you respect the teacher, they will never do wrong. I'm not saying that everybody's wrong or everybody's good. Everywhere you have the black crows, but what we need to do is we need to respect them so that they come out of it. So Nitin sir, Dr. Sandeep, and Colonel sir, I have come up with a small mission. I'm actually in all my forums, I'm talking about it. How do we recognize these teachers? So let me share one small document. It'll take me a minute to do that. Okay, so here I am. Can you see the document? Okay, so you can see the document, right? See, I come from a company by the name of Wordsworth, and we've been working with more than 3,000 schools. We have till date trained 25,000 teachers. 25,000 teachers. And during doing that, we've realized that we need to recognize these teachers. We need to recognize all educationists. See, like a doctor writes a DR as a prefix, an engineer writes an ER as a prefix, and a chartered accountant writes a CA as a prefix. Why can't we write an ED as a prefix? That's what we need to do. That's what we need to know. Let the world know that this person is a teacher. I am a teacher. I am making the future. I am putting in all that I can to create the future of this country. So let me be recognized. And if a person is recognized, they will always deliver better. And there will be people who would love to join this fraternity. What I have done is I've gone one step further. I have taken the liberty of writing this way. I don't know how it feels, but I would feel proud if I could have a name like this. If you could put that, if you could put it down, let your teachers also know that from tomorrow you write ED in front of you. Look at them, they will feel so good. And if you feel good, you can do anything. So a policy like an NEP 2020, if we really want to do that, bringing in that charm, bringing in that fire, bringing in that passion into the teachers will be possible with a small thing. It doesn't cost anybody. It only brings in respect. So if you could do that, I'll be grateful to you. Thank you so much for your patient listening, sir. Thank you so much.
I would like to add what Jaswinder sir said. If I would be the education minister, the very first thing what I would like to do is that I would like to make the teachers to be the highly paid. All the ministers and every post should be less paid than the teachers. Why? Because they are the nation builders. They create doctors, engineers, and in every field you find that the teachers are, they're always been depressed. Why? Because they've been called up that you haven't got any other profession, so you have become teacher. So the very first thing is that this is a passionate work where where the teacher need to understand that before coming into the profession, we should see this, that what are we doing? What are we here for? Are we working with a passion? So, if I become the education minister, the very first thing is that I'll see this, that the teachers are highly paid. With NEP, it is very important that if the teachers are well trained and if they are well paid, you'll find a difference, and there will be a different scenario in the country. All throughout the country, you'll find that there will be a difference in the culture of the students, and the coming future will be better. With this note, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nitin sir. Thank you, Jaswinder sir. And now I would request Sandeep sir before I go to Shyam sir. Sandeep sir, if you can have your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
First of all, thank you very much for giving me a chance to be a part of this wonderful presentation. And yeah, of course, people like you who are so patient, they make the presentations and the lectures also awesome. Thanks a lot. And I would be delighted to be again a part when if given chance. And thank you, Mr. Singh. Thank you, Colonel Saab. Thank you, sir. It was really nice to be on the same platform. Yeah, if I become, if this miracle happens to be that I become education minister, first of all, the thing is I would try to insist on 100% literacy, literal literacy. That is not just signing literacy. That person knows how to sign and is stamped as a literate. Because when I go to the banks, I see often people, young people, they're standing and they can't fill up the forms of the banks and the post offices, and they can't write applications. So how? And we say that we are literates. Yeah, we are not literates. So first thing would be that 100% literacy. I've been to Europe. I've been teaching in Europe. I've never find any person standing somebody can fill up the form. They know these basic things. So we talk very big things, but I think we have to start from the basics. First would be we should be 100% literate. At least we should know how to do the work which we are supposed to do ourselves. And then one thing, as being in the school fraternity, but I would love to have less students in the classrooms. Like teacher-student ratio, it needs to be reduced. As I find that board has said 40, but the schools take liberty of taking up to 5 more, 50. It's not possible. A teacher can't teach when he is with 50 students in the classroom. And of course, the training part, rigorous and extensive training of the teacher, because somewhere I feel the teacher are really torturing the students. They are not being able to deliver as they should, but they're way. So these are the things, if this miracle happens to be, I would like to deliver. Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you.
and it was wonderful to be on this platform. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sandeep sir. We are equally honored with your presence. Big thanks for sharing your thoughts and ideas with us. Thank you, sir. And now I would invite Shyam sir. Shyam sir, we would like to conclude the session with your thoughts and ideas, with your concluding remark. And I would also ask you the same question. What would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education? So,
Yeah, well, thank you for that, and well said, Jaswinder sir, Nitin sir, and Sandeep sir. No doubt that NEP has come up with drastic changes. Is going to change the Indian education system, of course, and adding to that, the things which the requirement of the skill development and the proficiency in language and science and various other skills to improve the cognitive development of the students. We also need to focus the teachers pay salary and the perks and privileges which they are getting and the respect which they are supposed to earn from the students and the society has to be taken care. In case if I am getting a chance, of course, then of course along with these aspects, no doubt these things needs to be addressed in appropriate manner. However, I will go slightly ahead, little more ahead. Where the basic education, the first education starts from home. So, were the women of our country, the women empowerment needs to be in slightly vigorous manner. where every mother or sister should be able to guide their son or brother in appropriate manner. When the first basic education from home is starting, the family, that is mainly the whether it is a joint family or that nuclear family of the present day, the mother has an active role. The mother has got an active role to inculcate the habit of learning, good learning, and the best habits one should have to become the effective citizen of this country. So, along with adding the training of the teachers, the habits of the students, and everything, the women empowerment, the empowerment of the girls and ladies has to be slightly more focused, and appropriate steps should be initiated to make them again equally competent or equally responsible for development of this nation. Thank you. With that, I end up my words. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Can I add one thing to Colonel Sir? Colonel Sir, it
Please.
is said the best laptop is the mother's lap.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
The best
No
laptop
doubt.
is the mother's lap. And that is where a child learns the best.
Exactly.
So big thanks to all of you, Shyam sir, Nitin sir, Sandeep sir, Jaswinder sir, Dr. Chaube. Big thanks for joining and making this session truly special. I also thank other participants for being with us for the entire session. Thank you all. We'll end the session here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.